Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here. Today we'll be exploring structural organization in animals. This is the first slide, our cover slide, so I just want to give you a quick overview. We'll be discussing how animals are organized internally, from simple to complex structures, and why this is important for understanding their biology. So let's get started. Let's explore the fascinating world of animal tissues, which are fundamental to understanding how organisms function. Starting with epithelial tissue, this is the layer that lines surfaces and cavities, providing protection, absorption, and secretion. Moving deeper, connective tissues support and connect different parts of the body, including bones, cartilage, and blood. Neural tissue, on the other hand, forms the nervous system, responsible for transmitting signals throughout the body. We also see how muscle tissue enables movement, with types such as skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. Each of these tissues has unique morphology and functions suited to their roles. For example, the nervous and endocrine systems work together to regulate body activities and maintain homeostasis. Within connective tissues, specialized types like adipose tissue and blood play vital roles in energy storage and transport. Junctions between cells, such as tight and gap junctions, facilitate communication and cohesion among tissues. Understanding these tissues helps us grasp how different systems like the reproductive, digestive, and respiratory systems are organized and operate efficiently. Overall, the study of animal tissues gives us a window into the complex, yet beautifully coordinated machinery that keeps living organisms alive and thriving. Let's take a closer look at the different types of tissues found in animals. As you can see, the structure of cells varies depending on their specific functions. This variation leads to the classification of tissues into four main types. These include neural tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and epithelial tissue. In multicellular animals, groups of similar cells work together along with intercellular substances to perform particular functions. This organization is what we call tissue. Understanding these tissues is essential because they form the foundation for how different organs and systems operate within the body. Each tissue type has unique characteristics suited to its role, which we'll explore further as we go along. Recognizing these differences helps us understand the complexity and efficiency of animal body structures. Now let's take a closer look at epithelial tissue. This tissue is essential because it forms protective layers in our body. For example, the outer layer of our skin is made up of epithelial cells, which serve as a barrier against injury, pathogens, and water loss. Epithelial tissue can be classified into different types based on the number of cell layers. When we talk about compound epithelium, we're referring to tissues that consist of 2 or more cell layers. These multiple layers provide added protection, much like the outermost layer of our skin, which is designed to shield underlying tissues. On the other hand, simple epithelium is made up of just a single layer of cells. Despite being a single layer, these cells play crucial roles, such as lining body cavities, ducts, and tubes. They are responsible for functions like absorption, secretion, and filtration. An important feature of epithelial tissue is that it has a free surface. This surface faces either the outside environment or body fluids, making it an effective covering or lining for various structures. The cells are tightly packed together with minimal space between them, which enhances their protective and barrier functions. To summarize, epithelial tissue is vital because it acts as a protective and lining tissue in our body. Whether it's the multiple layers of compound epithelium or the single layer of simple epithelium, each type has a specific role that contributes to the overall health and functioning of our body systems. Now, let's move on to slide 5, where we'll explore the different types of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is incredibly diverse, and understanding its types is key to grasping how our body functions. There are several main categories, each with unique structures and roles. First, we have simple epithelium, which consists of a single layer of cells. This type is often involved in absorption, filtration, and diffusion, making it ideal for areas like the lungs and blood vessels. Next, there's stratified epithelium, composed of multiple layers. This structure provides protection, especially in areas exposed to friction or wear, such as the skin or the lining of the mouth. Then we have squamous epithelium, characterized by flat, scale-like cells. These are typically found in areas where rapid diffusion is necessary, like in the alveoli of the lungs or lining blood vessels. Moving on, cubital epithelium features cube-shaped cells and is often involved in secretion and absorption, found in glands and kidney tubules. Columnar epithelium consists of tall, column-like cells. These are common in the digestive tract, where they assist in absorption and secretion. Finally, we also find specialized types like pseudostratified epithelium, which appears layered but isn't, and transitional epithelium, unique to the bladder, allowing it to stretch. Throughout this slide, you'll see how these different types adapt to their specific functions, highlighting the incredible versatility of epithelial tissue. Understanding these variations helps us appreciate how the body's protective, absorptive, and secretory roles are all efficiently carried out. Now, let's explore some of the key functions of epithelial tissues. First, they are crucial for the regulation and excretion of chemicals between the underlying tissues and the body cavity. This means they help control what substances are retained or eliminated, maintaining a balanced internal environment. Next, they play a vital role in the detection of sensation. Whether it's touch, temperature, or pain, epithelial tissues contain sensory receptors that help us respond to our environment effectively. Another important function is the absorption of substances, especially in the lining of the digestive tract. This process involves specialized modifications that allow efficient uptake of nutrients while also protecting underlying tissues. Epithelial tissues are also responsible for secreting hormones into the blood vascular system. These hormones regulate numerous physiological processes, making epithelia essential for communication within the body. Additionally, they produce other secretions like sweat, mucus, and enzymes, which are delivered through ducts from glandular epithelium to specific sites. Protection is another critical role. Epithelia serve as a barrier, shielding underlying tissues from radiation, dehydration, toxins, and physical trauma. This protective layer is fundamental to maintaining tissue integrity and overall health. All these functions highlight how epithelia are integral to our body's homeostasis and defense mechanisms, tying into the larger theme of tissue specialization and coordination in the body. Let's take a closer look at the different types of cell junctions found in tissues. First, we have tight junctions. These are crucial because they help prevent substances from leaking across the tissue, essentially acting as a barrier to maintain compartmentalization. Next, we have adhering junctions, which perform the important role of cementing neighboring cells together, providing stability and structural integrity. Finally, gap junctions facilitate communication between cells by connecting their cytoplasms, allowing rapid transfer of ions, small molecules, and sometimes even larger molecules. This connectivity is vital for coordinated cell function. Overall, these three types, tight, adhering, and gap junctions, are essential for maintaining the structure and function of epithelial tissues and other cell groups. They work together to hold cells in place, control what passes between them, and enable cells to communicate efficiently. Now, let's take a closer look at specialized connective tissue, which is categorized into two main types: dense connective tissue and loose connective tissue. These tissues are essential for providing structural support and flexibility throughout the body. Connective tissues, in general, include a variety of types such as cartilage, bone, adipose tissue, and blood. An important point to note is that, except for blood, these tissues have fibers that give them strength, elasticity, and flexibility. These fibers are crucial because they help tissues withstand stress and maintain their shape. The cells within connective tissue also secrete modified polysaccharides, which accumulate between the cells and fibers. This substance is known as the matrix or ground substance, and it acts as a sort of scaffolding that supports the tissue structure. Speaking of structure, connective tissue is made up of three main components: the cells, the protein fibers, and the amorphous ground substance. When you combine the fibers and ground substance, you get the extracellular matrix, which is vital for the tissue's function and resilience. Finally, it's important to remember that connective tissue plays a key role in supporting the body by providing structural support, binding tissues and organs together, and offering protection. These functions are fundamental to maintaining the body's integrity and overall health, tying back to our broader theme of how different tissues work together to keep us functioning smoothly. Today, we're going to explore the different types of connective tissue. Connective tissues are incredibly diverse and play vital roles in supporting, connecting, and protecting our body structures. They include several main types, each with unique features and functions. For example, we have loose connective tissue, which provides support and cushioning and is found beneath the skin. Then there's dense connective tissue, which has a higher fiber content and offers strength and durability, like in tendons and ligaments. Cartilage is another type, providing flexible support, especially in joints, while bone is a hard, mineralized tissue that gives our body structure and protection. Finally, blood is also classified as a connective tissue because it connects the body systems through the transportation of nutrients, gases, and waste. Understanding these different types helps us see how interconnected and specialized our tissues are, supporting every movement, function, and connection throughout the body. This overview ties into the broader theme of how our body's structure and function are intricately linked through these various tissues. Let's take a closer look at some types of connective tissues. First, adipose tissue, which is mainly located just beneath the skin. This tissue is specialized for storing fats, serving as energy reserves and providing insulation. Moving on, we have ligaments, which are tough bands that attach one bone to another, helping stabilize our joints. Tendons, on the other hand, connect skeletal muscles to bones, allowing us to move. Now, within dense regular connective tissue, you'll notice that collagen fibers are arranged in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. This orderly pattern provides great strength in one direction, which is essential for tendons and ligaments. In contrast, dense irregular connective tissue has fibroblasts and fibers, mostly collagen, that are oriented in different directions. This arrangement makes it more flexible and is what we find in the skin, allowing it to withstand stresses from multiple directions. Let's also talk about areolar tissue, which is present right beneath the skin. It contains fibroblasts and macrophages, and its loosely arranged cells and fibers are embedded in a semi-fluid ground substance. This tissue acts as a kind of packing material, supporting and binding the skin to underlying structures. To summarize, the key difference between these tissues lies in how their fibers are organized, either in a regular pattern in dense regular tissue or in an irregular pattern in dense irregular tissue. Both, however, play crucial roles in supporting and connecting different parts of our body, which ties back to the overall theme of how connective tissues maintain structure and function. Now, let's talk about the intercellular material of cartilage. It's quite interesting because it's solid and pliable at the same time, which allows it to resist compression effectively. The cells that make up this tissue are called chondrocytes, and they're actually enclosed in small cavities within the matrix that they secrete themselves. This arrangement helps maintain the structure and function of cartilage. You can find cartilage in many important areas of the body, such as the tip of the nose, the outer ear, and in joints where bones come together. It's also present between adjacent bones of the vertebral column, providing cushioning and support. So, overall, cartilage is a specialized connective tissue that plays a crucial role in our body's framework, especially where flexibility and resilience are needed. Bones play a crucial role in supporting and protecting our softer tissues and organs. Think of them as the body's sturdy framework that keeps everything in place. The bone cells, called osteocytes, do more than just sit there. They interact closely with the skeletal muscles attached to them. This interaction is what allows us to move smoothly and efficiently. Additionally, within some bones, there's bone marrow, which is essential because it's the site where blood cells are produced. So, bones aren't just about structure, they're vital for blood cell production too. Now, the strength of bones comes from their hard, non-pliable ground substance. This substance is rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers, which give bones their durability and strength. Without this, bones wouldn't be able to support our weight or withstand daily stress. Finally, if you look closely, you'll see that osteocytes are located in tiny spaces called lacunae. These spaces are like little niches where the bone cells reside and maintain the bone tissue. Overall, bones are fundamental for both support and function, connecting movement, protection, and blood cell production, all key themes in understanding how the body works seamlessly together. Blood is a fascinating and vital fluid connective tissue that plays a crucial role in our body. It's composed of several key components, including plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Each of these parts has a specific function that contributes to overall health and homeostasis. Plasma, the liquid part, acts as a transport medium, carrying nutrients, hormones, and waste products throughout the body. Red blood cells, or RBCs, are responsible for carrying oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and returning carbon dioxide back to the lungs for exhalation. White blood cells, or WBCs, are our immune defenders, fighting off infections and protecting us from illnesses. Platelets are essential for blood clotting and wound healing. Overall, blood is the main circulating fluid in our body. It constantly moves, ensuring that various substances, like oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and waste, are transported efficiently to where they are needed. Understanding blood and its components helps us appreciate how our body maintains balance and responds to different challenges. It's truly a vital component of our overall health and well-being. Now, let's take a closer look at the structure of muscle tissue. Each muscle is made up of many long, cylindrical fibers that are arranged in parallel arrays, which helps them work efficiently together. These fibers are composed of even smaller units called myofibrils, which are essential for muscle contraction. At the cellular level, each muscle cell contains a complex of proteins, primarily actin and myosin, that interact to produce movement. Muscle tissue is a specialized type of tissue found in animals, and its main function is to contract. When muscles contract, they generate forces that move different parts of the body. These fibers are connected in sheets and bundles, forming what we recognize as muscles. All of these structures, fibers, sheets, and bundles, work together to control movement and perform various contractile functions, making muscle tissue vital for an organism's mobility and stability. This intricate organization allows muscles to effectively translate microscopic interactions into the powerful movements we see in everyday life. Now, let's explore the different types of muscle tissue. There are 3 main types, each with unique characteristics that suit their specific functions in our body. First, we have skeletal muscle tissue. This is the kind you're most familiar with because it's involved in voluntary movements like walking or lifting objects. Skeletal muscles are attached to bones and help us move consciously. Next, we have cardiac muscle tissue, which makes up the walls of our heart. This type of muscle is involuntary, meaning it works automatically without us thinking about it, and it's specialized to contract rhythmically to pump blood throughout our body. Finally, there is smooth muscle tissue, found in the walls of internal organs like the stomach, intestines, and blood vessels. Smooth muscle also works involuntarily and is responsible for functions like digestion and regulating blood flow. Understanding these 3 types helps us see how muscle tissue is perfectly adapted to perform a wide range of vital roles within our body, aligning with the overall theme of how our body functions smoothly and efficiently. When a neuron receives the right kind of stimulation, it generates an electrical disturbance that quickly travels along its plasma membrane. This electrical signal, known as an action potential, is essential for communication within the nervous system. When this disturbance reaches the neuron's endings, or what we call the output zone, it triggers a series of events. These events can either stimulate or inhibit neighboring neurons and other cells, allowing for precise control of responses throughout the body. Neurons are the fundamental units of the nervous system. They're excitable cells, meaning they can respond rapidly to stimuli and generate electrical signals. But they don't work alone. The rest of the neural system is supported by neuroglial cells, which serve important roles in protection and support. In fact, neuroglia make up more than half of the volume of neural tissue in our bodies, highlighting just how vital they are for maintaining healthy neural function. All this neural tissue, neurons and neuroglia, collectively exerts the greatest control over how our body responds to changing conditions. This complex network is what allows us to perceive, react, and adapt to the world around us. So, understanding neural tissue is key to grasping how the nervous system orchestrates our body's responses and maintains homeostasis. Let's take a closer look at the morphology of the earthworm. On the surface of the body, you'll notice numerous tiny pores called nephridiopores, which are responsible for excretion. Beyond these, most segments have rows of S-shaped setae, except for the first, last, and the clitellum, and these setae play a crucial role in movement by anchoring the worm as it moves through soil. Moving to reproductive structures, there are 4 pairs of spermathecal apertures located on segments 5 through 9, which store sperm received from other worms. Additionally, the male genital pores are found on the 18th segment, while a single female genital pore is situated along the midventral line of the 14th segment. In mature worms, segments 14 to 16 are covered by a prominent dark band called the clitellum, which is glandular tissue. This band effectively divides the body into 3 parts, preclitellar, clitellar, and postclitellar segments, and it plays a vital role during reproduction. Now, looking at the anterior end, we find the mouth, covered by the prostomium, which is a sort of lip or hood. The first body segment, called the peristomium, contains the mouth itself. The overall body of the earthworm is long and cylindrical, composed of about 100 to 120 similar short segments known as metameres. If we examine the dorsal surface, you'll see a dark mid-dorsal line running along the length of the body. This is a key identifying feature. On the ventral side, the genital openings are visible, which are essential for the worm's reproductive process. Understanding this detailed morphology helps us appreciate how earthworms are well adapted for their burrowing and soil-enriching lifestyle. The alimentary canal opens to the exterior through a small, rounded aperture called the anus. This is essentially the exit point for waste. Moving inside, we see that the stomach extends from the 9th to the 14th segments. The earthworm's diet mainly consists of decaying leaves and organic matter mixed with soil, which they ingest as part of their natural process. Interestingly, the stomach contains calciferous glands that play a crucial role in neutralizing humic acid found in humus, helping in digestion. After the 26th segment, the intestine continues, but most notably, it features an internal median fold on the dorsal wall called the typhlosole. This structure is significant because it increases the surface area inside the intestine, enhancing the earthworm's ability to absorb nutrients efficiently. The intestine itself starts from the 15th segment and runs all the way to the last segment. Near the 26th segment, there are also a pair of short, conical structures called intestinal chichi, which project from the intestine and further assist in absorption. Now, the pathway of food begins at the mouth, which opens into the buccal cavity spanning the first 3 segments. From there, the food passes into the muscular pharynx, which helps in swallowing and pushing the food onward. Connecting these parts is a straight tube, the alimentary canal, that runs between the first and the last segments of the earthworm's body, forming a continuous pathway for digestion. Additionally, for processing soil and organic debris, the earthworm has a small narrow tube called the esophagus, which spans from segments 5 to 7. It leads into a muscular gizzard, located in segments 8 and 9, which functions like a grinder, breaking down soil particles and decaying leaves. Understanding this anatomy helps us appreciate how earthworms are well adapted to their environment, efficiently extracting nutrients from organic matter in the soil. Contractions play a crucial role in keeping the blood flowing in one direction, which helps maintain efficient circulation. Smaller blood vessels are responsible for supplying the gut, nerve cord, and the body wall, ensuring that these vital areas receive the nutrients and oxygen they need. On the fourth, fifth, and sixth segments, you'll find specialized blood glands. These glands produce blood cells and hemoglobin, which is dissolved in the blood plasma. The blood cells themselves are phagocytic, meaning they can engulf and digest foreign particles or pathogens, an important part of the immune response. Now, the circulatory system we're looking at is a closed type, which means the blood stays within the blood vessels, capillaries, and the heart at all times. It's a highly efficient system because it confines the blood, preventing leaks and ensuring that the transportation of nutrients, gases, and waste is tightly regulated. This closed circulatory system, composed of blood vessels, capillaries, and the heart, is essential for supporting the organism's overall function and health, especially as it relates to maintaining homeostasis and supporting complex bodily processes. Let's take a closer look at how earthworms breathe. Unlike many animals, earthworms don't have specialized breathing organs like lungs or gills. Instead, they rely on their skin to exchange gases. Their body surface needs to stay moist because this moisture is essential for the diffusion of oxygen into their bloodstream and the removal of carbon dioxide. So when they come into contact with soil or water, oxygen passes through their skin directly into their blood. This simple yet effective method highlights how their body structure is adapted for their environment, fitting into the broader theme of how different organisms have evolved unique systems for survival. Let's take a closer look at the excretory system of this organism. First, we see that the pharyngeal nephridia are present as 3 paired tufts, specifically located in the 4th, 5th, and 6th segments. These structures are attached to the lining of the body wall in segments 3 through to the last, and importantly, they open on the surface of the body, allowing for waste excretion. Next, we have the integumentary nephridia, which are present on both sides of the intersegmental septa, starting from segment 15 and continuing to the last segment. These also open into the intestine, playing a vital role in waste removal from the body. Finally, there are septal nephridia, and these are of 3 different types, each with specific functions and locations. All of these excretory organs are segmentally arranged coiled tubules called nephridia, which work together to regulate the organism's excretory processes efficiently. Understanding how these different nephridia are distributed helps us see how the organism manages waste across its body segments, which is fundamental for maintaining internal balance. Let's take a closer look at the sensory system of worms. Interestingly, they don't have eyes like we do, but they do have light and touch-sensitive organs called receptor cells. These help them distinguish different light intensities and feel vibrations in the ground, which is crucial for their survival. Additionally, worms have specialized chemoreceptors, essentially taste receptors, located on the front part of their bodies. These react to chemical stimuli in their environment, helping them find food or sense danger. Moving on to their nervous system, the nerve cord in the front region, specifically in the 3rd and 4th segments, splits into 2 branches that laterally encircle the pharynx. These branches then join together dorsally to form a nerve ring. This nerve ring, along with the cerebral ganglia, think of it as a simple brain, integrates sensory input and coordinates muscular responses across the body. Overall, the nervous system is mainly made up of a series of ganglia arranged segment-wise along a ventral paired nerve cord. This organized structure allows the worm to process information efficiently and respond appropriately to its environment, which ties into the broader theme of how simple nervous systems support essential survival functions. Now let's take a closer look at the reproductive system of earthworms. The common prostate and spermatic duct, also known as the vasa deferentia, open to the exterior through a pair of male genital pores. These pores are located on the ventrolateral side of the 18th segment. Within the earthworm, there are 2 pairs of testes, positioned in the 10th and 11th segments. The vasa deferentia from these testes run up to the 18th segment, where they join the prostatic duct, facilitating the transport of sperm. Additionally, earthworms have two pairs of accessory glands, found in the 17th and 19th segments, which play a role in reproductive processes. A key concept here is protandry, meaning that the male reproductive organs mature before the female ones. This timing helps promote cross-fertilization, which is essential for genetic diversity. Interestingly, earthworms are considered monoecious, or hermaphroditic, meaning each individual has both male and female reproductive organs. However, they do not self-fertilize. The reason for this is the relative placement of their reproductive organs and the fact that they are protandrous, which prevents self-fertilization and encourages cross-fertilization between individuals. In summary, their reproductive system is complex, but well-organized to facilitate cross-fertilization, ensuring the survival and diversity of earthworm populations. The spermathecal duct opens outside through small pores that are located in the grooves of segments 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, and 8 and 9. Each spermatheca is composed of two main parts, an ampulla and a neck, with the ampulla being the upper short tubular part. The main body of the spermatheca is the ampulla, which functions as a storage site. These structures are also called seminal receptacles, because they are designed to receive sperm from another worm during copulation and to store the sperm temporarily. There are 4 pairs of spermathecae, and each pair is positioned ventrolaterally, that is, towards the bottom and sides of segments 6, 7, 8, and 9. Each spermatheca has a flask-shaped structure, which helps facilitate the storage process. Understanding these structures is crucial because they play a key role in reproduction, allowing worms to store sperm efficiently until fertilization occurs. This arrangement and design highlight how specialized and adapted these worms are for successful reproduction. Fertilization in earthworms is a fascinating process because it only occurs externally, and specifically within the cocoon or ootheca they produce. Once the ovaries mature, the formation of the cocoon or ootheca begins, and this happens right after copulation. During this process, mature sperm, egg cells, and nutritive fluid are deposited inside the cocoon, which is produced by specialized gland cells in the clitellum. Copulation itself usually takes place during the rainy season, mainly from July to October. For mating to happen, one worm needs to find another, and they position themselves opposite each other, with their gonadal openings aligned. This positioning allows them to exchange packets of sperm, known as spermatophores. Now, regarding their anatomy, each worm has a pair of ovaries attached at the intersegmental septum between the 12th and 13th segments. Beneath these ovaries, there are ovarian funnels that lead into oviducts. These oviducts join together and open ventrally as a single median female genital pore located on the 14th segment. Understanding this setup helps us see how fertilization and reproduction are intricately coordinated, ensuring the continuity of the species. The precise placement of reproductive organs and the timing of copulation are key to their reproductive success. They are also used as bait in game fishing, which is a fun fact to keep in mind. Earthworms are often called friends of farmers because of the crucial role they play in improving soil health. They do this by making burrows in the soil, which helps make the soil porous. This porosity allows for better respiration and easier penetration of roots, helping plants grow stronger. The process of increasing soil fertility through earthworms is known as vermicomposting. Now let's talk about their reproduction. Each cocoon, which is like a little protective case, holds the worm's embryos. After about 3 weeks, each cocoon can produce anywhere from 2 to 20 baby worms, with an average of around 4. What's interesting is that earthworm development is direct, meaning there's no larval stage like in some insects. Fertilization and development happen inside the cocoons, which are deposited right in the soil. The eggs inside the cocoon are fertilized by sperm cells, and then the cocoon slips off the adult worm. Finally, it's deposited either in or on the soil, continuing the cycle of life for these important creatures. During extreme heat, frogs have an interesting survival strategy. They take shelter in deep burrows to protect themselves from the scorching heat and also from the cold, depending on the season. This behavior is known as summer sleep or estivation. Similarly, during winter, frogs go into a different kind of dormancy called hibernation to survive the cold months. Now, when we look at the most common frog species in India, it's Rana tigrina. These frogs are classified as cold-blooded or poikilotherms, which means their body temperature varies with their environment. They also go for summer sleep to conserve energy during the hot months. An amazing thing about frogs like Rana tigrina is their ability to camouflage, helping them stay hidden from predators. Frogs are quite versatile. They can live both on land and in freshwater habitats. That's why they are classified under the class Amphibia within the phylum Chordata. This dual habitat ability is one of the reasons they are such fascinating creatures to study. Specifically focusing on Rana tigrina, it's a prime example of the adaptability of frogs in India's diverse environment. Their survival strategies, like estivation and hibernation, highlight how well they are equipped to handle extreme weather conditions. These behaviors are essential for their survival and are a key part of understanding their biology and ecological role. Now let's take a closer look at the morphology of frogs. The body of a frog has some distinctive features. They have a pair of nostrils, which are essential for breathing and smelling. Their eyes are bulged and covered by a nictitating membrane, which helps protect the eyes while still allowing them to see. Additionally, they have a membranous tympanum, which functions as an ear to pick up sound vibrations. Moving to the limbs, frogs have both forelimbs and hind limbs, and their feet are webbed, which aids in swimming efficiently. An interesting aspect of frog biology is sexual dimorphism. Males typically have vocal sacs, which they use to produce calls, and copulatory pads on the first digit of their forelimbs, helping them grip females during mating. Now, regarding their skin, it's quite fascinating. It absorbs water directly from their environment, which is vital for their hydration. The skin is smooth and slippery, thanks to mucus production. This mucus not only keeps them moist, but also provides some protection. Coloration-wise, the dorsal side, or the back, is usually olive green, blending well with their surroundings, while the ventral side, or the belly, is a uniform pale yellow. Lastly, the frog's body can be divided into two main parts, the head and the trunk. This simple division helps us understand their overall body plan and how their different structures are organized. All these features are key to understanding how frogs are adapted to their environment and their way of life. Food is captured by the bilobed tongue and then begins its journey through digestion. In the stomach, it is broken down further by hydrochloric acid and gastric juices. From there, the partially digested food, known as chyme, moves into the duodenum. This is a crucial part of the process because the duodenum receives bile, which helps emulsify fats, making them easier to digest, and pancreatic juice containing enzymes that break down complex molecules. Final digestion actually occurs in the intestine, where the nutrients are absorbed. The inner wall of the intestine is lined with numerous finger-like structures called villi, and each villus is covered with microvilli. These tiny projections vastly increase the surface area for absorption. Now, the esophagus is a short tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. From the stomach, the digestive process continues through the intestine, then the rectum, and eventually, waste exits the body through the cloaca. The liver plays a key role by secreting bile, which helps in fat digestion, while the pancreas produces pancreatic juice filled with enzymes that aid in breaking down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Overall, the digestive system is made up of a short alimentary canal and various digestive glands. The journey starts at the mouth, which opens into the buccal cavity, then passes through the pharynx into the esophagus, continuing this complex process of digestion and absorption that supports our overall health and energy. During estivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange occurs through the skin, which is quite fascinating. On land, frogs utilize three main respiratory organs: the buccal cavity, the skin, and the lungs. The process involving the lungs is called pulmonary respiration, and these lungs are actually elongated, pinkish sac-like structures located in the upper part of the trunk, known as the thorax. When a frog breathes, air enters through the nostrils into the buccal cavity, and from there, it moves into the lungs for oxygen exchange. Now, frogs are quite versatile. They breathe both on land and in water, but they do so using different methods. In water, the skin plays a vital role as an aquatic respiratory organ, a process called cutaneous respiration. Here, dissolved oxygen in the water diffuses directly through the skin into the blood, which is a remarkable adaptation that allows frogs to survive submerged for extended periods. Understanding these different modes of respiration helps us appreciate how frogs are perfectly adapted to their environments, seamlessly switching between land and water. In females, the ureters and oviducts open separately into the cloaca, which is a common chamber for excretion and reproduction. This separation helps streamline the different functions within the reproductive and excretory systems. Frogs are ureotelic animals, meaning they excrete urea as their primary waste product. This adaptation is particularly useful because urea is less toxic and requires less water for excretion compared to other waste products like ammonia. In male frogs, two ureters emerge from the kidneys. These ureters don't just carry urine, they also act as urinogenital ducts, opening into the cloaca to facilitate the passage of urine and reproductive fluids. This dual role highlights the interconnectedness of the excretory and reproductive systems in amphibians. The excretory system as a whole includes a pair of kidneys, ureters, the cloaca, and a urinary bladder. Each kidney is made up of numerous structural and functional units called uriniferous tubules or nephrons, which are essential for filtering blood and forming urine. Understanding these systems helps us appreciate how frogs maintain internal balance and prepare waste for removal, all while supporting their reproductive functions. It's a fascinating example of how evolution has integrated multiple processes into a compact and efficient system. Let's take a closer look at the sensory organs found in frogs. The eyes are responsible for vision, allowing frogs to see their environment clearly. The hearing system involves the tympanum, which functions like an eardrum, and the internal ears that help frogs detect sound. For taste, frogs have taste buds on their tongue and within their mouth, helping them identify edible items. Their sense of smell relies on the nasal epithelium, which detects airborne odors. Touch is mediated by sensory papillae, which are small structures on the skin that help frogs feel their surroundings. Moving on to the nervous system, it consists of several key parts. The sensory organs are connected to the brain, which includes regions like the hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. The hindbrain contains the cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The medulla passes out through the foramen magnum and continues as the spinal cord, transmitting signals to and from the body. In the midbrain, you find the olfactory lobes, which are important for the sense of smell, paired cerebral hemispheres for processing complex information, and the unpaired diencephalon that regulates various autonomic functions. The forebrain is highly developed and includes 10 pairs of cranial nerves that arise from it. The entire brain is protected within a bony structure called the brain box, or skull. The brain itself is divided into 3 main parts: the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like heartbeat and digestion; the peripheral nervous system, made up of cranial and spinal nerves that connect the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body; and the central nervous system, consisting of the brain and spinal cord, which coordinate all neural activity. Lastly, frogs have both a neural system and endocrine glands. These endocrine glands include the pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic islets, adrenals, and gonads. These glands produce hormones that regulate growth, metabolism, reproduction, and other vital processes, working in tandem with their nervous system to maintain homeostasis. Understanding this integrated system helps us appreciate how frogs perceive their environment and respond to it effectively, which is key to their survival and adaptation. Fertilization in this species is external, meaning that it happens outside the body of the female. After fertilization, development involves a larval stage called a tadpole. This tadpole then undergoes metamorphosis, transforming into the adult form we are familiar with. Looking at the female reproductive organs, she has a pair of ovaries, and each ovary connects to a pair of oviducts. These oviducts open separately into the cloaca, which is a common chamber for excretion and reproduction. A key point to remember is that a mature female can lay between 2,500 to 3,000 ova at one time, which is quite a significant number. On the male side, the reproductive system includes a pair of yellowish, ovoid testes. These testes are attached to the upper part of the kidneys via a double fold of peritoneum called the mesorchium. The vasa efferentia carries sperm from the testes into the kidneys, where they enter the Bitter's canal. From there, the sperm travels to the urinogenital duct, which finally opens into the cloaca. Connecting these details to the overall theme, understanding the reproductive system highlights how these animals reproduce externally and undergo complex developmental stages. It also emphasizes the specialized structures involved in reproduction, ensuring their survival and continuation of the species. In some countries, frogs are actually considered a delicacy, and their muscular legs are used as food by humans. It's interesting to see how different cultures utilize various parts of animals for nutrition. Beyond their culinary use, frogs play a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance. They are an essential link in the food chain and food web within their ecosystems, helping to keep everything in harmony. Additionally, frogs are beneficial for mankind because they help control insect populations. By eating insects, they also contribute to protecting our crops from pest damage. So overall, frogs are not just interesting creatures. They have significant economic and ecological importance that benefits us in many ways.